When working on client builds, it's always fun getting feedback that actually makes sense and tracking which page it's for and which part of the page, which is why it's pretty much a no-brainer to add a fairly simple and lightweight visual feedback widget into Website Toolkit. So let's get cracking and show you what it can do. So I've got a client area already with a few different domains in for our web services and Training Web Guy and Toggle WP. If you've not yet added a feedback widget, you'd have the grey panel and you can click on Start. But to save a few minutes, I've already added the code to a website. So I'm just going to click on the Open Feedback on there. Now, while I've started it and added it to the site, I've not actually created any feedback as yet. So if you have no feedback, you'll see the embed script at the top. If you have got some feedback in the place, it'll just hide that bit. But if you ever needed it again, you can just toggle it on and off from the code section in the top corner. So depending on your website platform, you need to add that script to your header. I won't cover that in this video just to save time, but I'm using WordPress on here and I've added it to my site already. And we can see we've got our little feedback widget in the bottom corner. So if we click on that bit, we've got the fairly standard widget where you can click or highlight or pick an element on the page, select the category, i.e. content, design, functionality, bug, copy text, SEO or other on there. And you could also, if you wanted to use your browser's built-in screenshot ability, upload an image or optionally record a little voice note on there. So for this first test, I'm just going to go through and use the highlights to pick an element on the page and do a content change. So if I click on highlight pick elements, we now see we get this little floating green box around the part of the page. So I'm going to click on that bit there. It will just grab the text and the part of the page it's for. The category, I'm going to say content, and I need to say missing a mention of website toolkits. Just so it's nice and simple on there. And I'm going to click on the send feedback, and that's gone, and it disappears on that side through. So as the administrator on there, I'd get a little update email through, which I'm just waiting to arrive. And we can see it here. So it says new feedback for that, gives it the address as well, tells you about the elements, and it basically gets the details out and includes the text that I entered on there as well. Obviously, as it's in Outlook, it's not looking the best on here, but that's a work in progress. And it'd also tell you the viewport size and the browser they had in place on there, just in case they're feeding back on something because they've changed to a smaller screen, and you can help to diagnose that bit. But if I click on the Open Feedback dashboard, that will do a new tab on here, and we can see we've now got our all feedback and content. So if you had multiple different categories in place, you can see how you're progressing for the different ones. So I'm just going to go through and add another quick item on here. So let's say feedback screenshot. That will use the browser's built-in ability. So that will pop up with this bit, as we can see. And if I just do a quick test on here to begin with, so let's highlight a big element on there and put a green box around there. Then just say this needs to change. Just for example, and click on screenshot. We'll actually see on the screenshot it's got the extra border around there as well. So if they wanted to be doubly sure of what they're doing, they've got the option of two things. So if I just say allow on there, that's now taken a screenshot and added it to the feedback on there. So this needs to change. So color. So if I do send feedback on there, that's sent. And if I just refresh on here as well, we can now see we got all feedback. We got two items. One's unassigned and one's content, because this is unscripted and I wasn't paying attention to actually categorize what it should be on that side. But if I've got the uncategorized one here, I can just click on the edit feedback on here and say this one's changed to design. So I can just recategorize. And now we can see we've got two feedback items, and then we can see the progress for each of the different categories. So we've basically, if you tick once, it mark it as in progress, tick it again, it says completed, and you can see it updates at the top here just to see what's going on. And if you wanted to, I could click on the screenshot here, just to open that up in a new tab to see what they're talking about on that side. But the best thing is you can also click on here to see what the target element was. So this page has currently got nothing showing on there. And if I swap back to the missing a mention of website toolkits, if I click on the little target icon on there, it says open page and highlight this element. It will then pass a bit of the query string through for that bit which the widget detects and removes, so I can actually see the part of the page that they were talking about at that particular point. So if you do have a long page and you're not entirely sure what they're referring to, you can click on that bit to jump through straight away. Likewise, if I try it on the screenshot here that had the button, that'll just do a new tab and the same bit on that side sort of through on there. So as I say, it's a lightweight widget on there for your website clients to provide feedback. So it doesn't ask their contact details because it's just for the client to feedback to you. So it basically simplifies that. And you could also, if you wanted to, upload an image or a voice note on that side sort of through. And then, yeah, once you've finished all your different contents on there, you can either optionally delete the feedback or add an internal note if you wanted to do some other details on there. So this is a test note. And if you wanted to, you could set up an email address for the client as well. So if you reply to anything on here with comments, it would just go straight through to them. But for this short video, I've not got that set in place, which is why that's grayed out. If I just click save on there, we've now just got our little internal note showing up on that side through as the extra little note on there. So this is the kind of the first main build of the feedback widget on there. I'm going to have some other feedback and ideas in place on that bit, so feel free to give it a try and let me know what you think.